Continuing our what if World War II started in modern day? And yes, we had to make a lot of, adjustments, obviously. Of course, this is unrealistic, obviously, but we'll be continuing it. So the beginning of the invasion of the Russian government begins basically so we can progress to part 4. Because Germany's president does not like Russia, because they don't like the fact that they're dependent on Russian energy, like in real life. So they start to invade Russia very quickly as well. They invade the Poland, which is basically here, and they invade Kaliningrad and the Baltics as well. Here, and they create a front line that looks like this within a month. With the Romania and Yugoslavia are reestablished governments as well, and are forced to become members of the Axis. Okay. Okay, and all these will be listed as puppet states. These are okay, we're gonna have a distinction between puppet states. Okay. There you go. Puppet states will be slightly different color. The invasion of Russia begins, and Germany starts to invade with all of its allies as well. Germany, of course, is contributing 80% of the troops. Meanwhile, the rest, the 10%, come from the Balkans, and the other 10% come from Turkey and the Middle East. Turkey also starts to invade the Caucasus Mountains as well. Invading all the way up towards the north, but they can't really go past there. Meanwhile, Turkey invades Syria, which is without Russia's protection that they were doing in real life anyways. Turkey was intervening in Syria, and Turkey is attacking Syria as well. And now the Syrian government, which is the same president they have now, is asking Russia for aid as well. Also, Iraq continues to invade Kuwait as well, and with the help of Iran, starts to invade the northern portion of Saudi Arabia, which again has nobody living there, so, this isn't really any war. Same thing with this part of Jordan, like no one lives in that part of Jordan, so they take the unpopulated parts of Jordan. Now let's go update on the other parts of the war. So the war in the Middle East is continuing. Well, Russia has great advances in Syria, and has somewhat of a good advance in the Caucasus Mountains, but it's a very big struggle. And Russia starts to invade the northern portion of Saudi Arabia. No, Turkey starts to invade the northern portion of Saudi Arabia as well. It seems that they might actually lose the Middle Eastern front here. However, Iran is not really well defended on the other side. Here. This part of India is about to capitulate, basically, but they are having struggles going through here, even with the help of Bangladeshi troops. India is a very hard country to invade. Same thing with Afghanistan. And they realize how difficult it is to defeat Afghanistan, even with the help of Russia. Afghanistan is a very difficult country to defeat because of its terrain. So Russia sends at least 10,000 troops into Afghanistan to defeat Afghanistan. With the help of China, they do defeat this panhandle here, but it's going to take a long time to defeat Afghanistan. Afghanistan, however, is able to push back Pakistan a little bit as well, but they start to realize how difficult it is to defeat Afghanistan, how hard it is, and with India, they're struggling in India as well. You know, India actually starts to push against Bangladesh in the northern ports of Bangladesh, creating a much larger front line in the country here and taking back some of the land from that they have been taken away. So India pushes back a little bit. Vietnam pushes back against China, as China is really struggling now. They don't really have much help, and the U.S. will not support China as China is the U.S.'s enemy. Also, they start to push back against Laos as well here, and they start to push back against Laos starts to lose against Thailand, as well as Thailand joining the war to help Japan. Here, Malaysia also joins the Axis powers, which makes it even worse for China, as Malaysia, they're pretty strong, so, yeah, but with the help of Malaysia, they are able to fully push out China out of Vietnam as well, and the war against Russia continues. So the invasion of Russia continues, or they start to invade a large portion. Finnish troops encircle this area, and they're surrounded. They're still urging Sweden to fight back, to join, but Sweden doesn't want to help Russia because they're not friends with Russia. This causes the front line to be massive here, and Finland takes over the Kola Peninsula as well, and because basically there's a second winter war. Okay. Meanwhile, we can't forget about the African fronts as well. So the battle against Nigeria continues as it's small advances, but they're out slowing down because the Congo is in a lot of problems here. Same thing with the invasion of Sudan. There isn't really. They do have some beginning successes in the desert as well, but Sudan is not a pretty weak country. And with the help of Yemen and with Djibouti entering the war, giving them a platform to invade Ethiopia, this gives Yemen and Oman, with the help of Sudan and Egypt, a chance to invade Eritrea. And they start to invade Italian-occupied Ethiopia and Somaliland as well, which was granted independence and Axis membership as well. This causes panic in the Italian government as they're losing in this pivotal moment. They're losing in this pivotal front. Also, the DR Congo is being pushed back even more, which means the African front is the first front that the Allies are really winning at. Which again, until this moment, the Axis power seems pretty strong as well, but it seems that the Allies have made a lot of gains as well, and they start to get the Axis start to gain in the Caucasus Mountains with the help of Turkey as well, but Turkey stalls. Same thing with Germany, as it is now winter, and of course Germany starts to be pushed back. Starts to be pushed back in winter. Even Finland does. Finland is mostly supplying the northern front, but they start to actually be pushed back by Russia. What's Germany is like, what's going on here? We're being pushed back. Same thing with the Japanese front here. Japan has kind of stalled. Okay. Even with the help of Philippines, Japan has kind of stalled here. here as Japan starts to run out of manpower. Yes, Japan was winning against China, but China has 1 billion people. Japan only has 140 million. Even with the help of the Philippines and Malaysia and even India, it seems that it isn't enough to offset China, as India is fighting their own wars and having their own problems with Bangladesh and Pakistan, basically. And now they're going to have problems with Nepal. Yes, Nepal joins the war on the side of the Allies alongside another country, Angola. It's, again, this is going to basically set the side of the African front. The Axis do get the bad to get Uganda on the side, which, and they also managed to get Equatorial Guinea, which doesn't really do anything as well. Uganda actually does do something because Uganda is a pretty big country in terms of population, but the Angolan army basically starts to connect Cabinda with the DL with its which Cabinda is up here. They start to connect it here, and this is pretty bad for the Axis powers, as the DL Congo was kind of like the trump card they had in the Allies against the Allies, because it's a very big populated country. There's a lot of manpower, a lot of young people. But it seems that the DL Congo is being invaded basically by Southern Africa, because Southern Africa has a lot of population. You have South Africa, you have Mozambique, you have Zambia. But the problem is the DRC is not a very stable country. So they're about to make it to Kinshasa, and the Congo government is about to basically fall. Okay. But so the Axis, even without the USA intervening, is starting to falter. The Axis does make a desperate move to take over Crimea, with the Turkish and German troops waste a lot of resources on taking Crimea. They waste a lot of resources, and they start to invade here and here. Here, because Germany is not the nation of young people anymore. It's, Germany has a lot of old people, and that's the big problem with Germany. Even like Turkey as well. Iran starts to invade parts of Turkmenistan, and that part starts to stall. And it seems that the Axis are starting to stall. It seems that this is becoming like World War I again. Okay, World War I. Even with Russia, because Russia's army is pretty strong, but the problem is a lot of Russian military are poorly equipped here, and they are very poorly equipped. Saudi Arabia, even like Saudi Arabia, they'll start to win against the offensives against Iraq and Iran. And Afghanistan is being destroyed utterly. Okay. More advances are made in the DR Congo, and more advances are made in Cameroon. However, the Axis is about to make a fatal mistake. Japan bombs Guam, basically, and this causes the USA to join in the war of the Allies. Yes, the USA declares war on Japan because Japan is big dumb. And now, basically, in this timeline, they attack Guam because Japan sees Guam. Japan wants Guam, and Germany said no, you can't bomb it. Germany and all the Axis members said you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't bomb Guam. Guam is a very strategic military base of the USA, but they didn't listen. Okay, the USA causes several countries in South. Also, in this time, another country joins the Allies, which that is Ecuador. Meanwhile, Axis gains a new member, and that's Brazil. Yes, they're going to have to fight Brazil. That's going to be a pretty tough cookie to fight. And Bolivia. Bolivia also joins the side of the Axis as well. alongside with Paraguay. And basically, South America erupts into a massive war with Chile joining the side of Argentina, because they don't want, and Uruguay joined the side of, and Colombia and Costa Rica. Mexico declares war on the USA alongside of Guatemala. El Salvador supports the USA along with Honduras. So this is basically the map now, and Cuba, of course, they don't like the USA at all. So they declare war on the USA, and hoping that, hey, the Axis powers, even though the Axis powers hate communists, well, Cuba and Vietnam are on the Axis, so because this is what happens, and also Benin joins the Axis as well, which gives them at least somewhat of advantage in that African front. And of course, Liberia joins the Allies. And yep, that's it about this. So far. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the Americas now, as the Americas now get involved with in the World War. So there's still going to be a bunch of non-aligned countries. I'm not going to get Zimbabwe, Switzerland, Portugal, Catalonia, Ireland. The rest of these countries are probably not going to be involved until the very end. But yep, that's about this video here. Goodbye.